Welcome to We've All Done It, the podcast for leaders who know they've screwed up and are ready to fix it fast. I'm Kimberly Benoit, author, speaker, leadership coach, and Southern girl living outside of Washington, D.C. Here's what I believe. Every leader faces challenges and makes mistakes, but you don't need years of therapy-style coaching to fix them. You need someone to help you figure out what's actually going wrong, make smart adjustments, and get back on track quickly. That's exactly what I do through one-on-one coaching, targeted skill development, and group programs. Every episode of this podcast delivers real talk about common leadership pitfalls, practical strategies for recovery, and no BS guidance to improve how you lead yourself and others every single day. Whether you're here to listen and learn, or ready to work together and make real changes, you are in the right place. Now let's get to today's episode. All right, everyone. I am so grateful for our guest today. Today, we have Miss Chelese Perry. This is a woman who has been in circles around my life for the last couple of years, but we've really only truly crossed paths probably within the last year, I would say. And I am thrilled that I'm going to get to work with her in just a couple of weeks. But I'm more excited that she's on the podcast today because we've been having some very animated conversations about what she's doing and how I see it showing up in my life. And we have to share it with you. So I'm going to do a little introduction. So she is an amazing leadership coach. She's a consultant. She is the CEO of her own Chelese Perry group. And she works with senior executives and high-achieving professionals who are navigating complexity and transition and just life expansion. And if that just sounds so freaking amazing by itself. But she also has created two frameworks that we're going to dig into today to help you, our listeners, figure out how to navigate your own complexity, transition, and expansion. So welcome to the show, Chelese.
Thank you so much, Kim. I am thrilled to be here. It's been on my calendar, and I was just so excited that the day's finally come. So thank you for having me.
Well, I feel like I'm in the presence of greatness because you have just been knocking it out of the park, both professionally and personally, with
thank you.
Everything that you're accomplishing. And I really appreciate you taking the time to come talk to the listeners on this show and share a lot of the work that you've been doing.
Of course.
So let's dive in because you have these two frameworks. So this might be the best place to start. So
yeah, for sure.
The Harmonious leadership and then the True North framework. So
yes.
A little bit about what are they
yes.
and what inspired you to create them?
Great. So why don't we start out with the True North framework because they integrate quite well together. They're distinct, different programs and frameworks, but they very much interrelate. So I'm going to share about the True North. I have to kind of talk a little bit about my personal experience, right? When I was at a point in my life where I felt as though I was untethered, like I was living and performing someone else's experience professionally and personally. And I had to find my way back, that internal compass back to who I am and reclaim who I am. And the thing that's interesting about that happened when I was kind of approaching midlife and into midlife, where I started asking some of those questions. Who am I now? Yeah. Right? And, you get to this place where, and it's almost like I joke about it. I played these different roles. I was corporate Barbie. I was wife Barbie. I was mom Barbie. I was daughter Barbie. I was all of these different things. And I was living a life of what others expected of me. Mm-hmm. And I lost myself in that, right? And I had to find my way back. And that's where the True North comes from. And when you think about True North and a compass, it's integrating all of who you are, right? Not compartmentalizing, but integrating your values, your authenticity, and your purpose. And in doing that myself, the thing that's interesting, it led me during a course of kind of doing self-work, self-study, working with clients, looking back at my own experiences as a corporate executive, it led me to make some major different shifts in my life, which I won't go into those now, but the impetus of that was me asking those existential questions and putting together a plan that helped my life, but it's also helped others to find their true north again. So that's where that framework started. And we can talk more about that. I'm sure you've got some questions about that. But then the harmonious leadership is similar as well. Because think about it like this. We have traditional leadership, kind of like command and control, a lot of expectations of us, a lot of performance, a lot of, I'm killing it, I'm doing all these different things. Whereas the way I look at leadership is how do we integrate all of who we are, the leader and the whole person? They're not separate. How do we harmonize those two things? And again, it leads to showing up with our true north as leaders as well, authentically, aligned with our values, living our purpose, aligning with our superpowers. That is what a harmonious leader is. Okay, so that's how they came to be.
Wow. Okay. There's so many directions we can take from that. Let's start with the last one first. So that really resonates with me. This idea of work self, home self.
Yes.
I feel like maybe pre-COVID, you could have those two be very, very separate.
Yes.
I remember that. Like it was very easy for me to compartmentalize my work existence and my home existence. Although I think that probably wasn't true, it felt more true.
Yes.
So when COVID took place, there was a complete merging of it because people were working from home. Your home self was now your work self.
Yes.
There was no escaping. There was no physical split. That's place. And that forced a change in how leaders had to now lead.
Yes. Yes.
Would you say that is that something that resonates with you or no?
It does, but I think when I think about the integration, it's less about, it's being authentic no matter where we are and where we're showing up. So it doesn't mean that we're integrating in like there's no, how can I put it? Self-time or personal time, or I'm away from work time. That's not what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting that there are boundaries in terms of how we work and our personal lives, but how we are as a human being and how we show up as a human being is integrated. Does that make sense?
Oh, it absolutely.
Yes, yes, yes.
Do you think our current corporate environment, now granted, I know there's a lot of corporate cultures out there. I hear the words that you're saying. They sound amazing. It almost sounds like utopia.
Yes.
Because one of the things when you talked about True North is who people want us to be, but I also think it's who they need us and expect us to be, but need us to be.
Yes.
These roles kind of, it's like water in a river. They kind of hone those rocks, right?
Yes.
So how does one show up as this authentic person with their values aligned when I don't know if the systems are set up to make it possible? Hey, quick announcement. I'm hosting a 3-day virtual leadership summit called Navigating Uncertainty from January 25th through 27th in 2026. 21 expert speakers are going to cover strategic leadership, team building, operational excellence, and leading through change. Best part? It's completely free if you watch live. However, if you want lifetime access to the replays and extra speaker resources, grab the All Access Pass for just $97. Head to the website in the show notes and register now. Trust me, you don't want to miss this.
Well, I hear you. And yes, systemically, that is definitely not the way of the past. And I'm just going to say this because I think about my days in corporate and, to some degree, there was some of that because I chose to embody some of who I am, but I was fighting against a lot of things. Whereas now the way I look at it is it's one person at a time. And what I mean by that is, yes, you have the systemic ecosystem that's running. And I want to say this because we all have masculine and feminine, but very masculine energetically. And what I want to say about that is one leader at a time, being heart-centered makes a difference. So what does that look like? 'Cause I'm not trying to go into a corporation, for example, and feel as though that, oh, I can come in and make a presentation and everybody's going to want to have harmonious leaders. What I'm looking at is how do we, on an individual level or a team level, change the way we show up? Because with that, it creates a ripple effect. So what I mean by that is, and I often talk about there's external leadership, right? And
Mhm.
there's internal self leadership. So think about it like this: a self regulated leader that's not reacting but responding because they are able to regulate their nervous system, whether that be through breath work or meditation, whatever that is, they're going to show up quite differently than a reactive leader, right? An empathetic leader is going to show up differently than a leader that does not have any sense of or desire to understand someone else's perspective. So if we start to coach around those things, and what I have found in my container is my leaders are hungry for this type of discussion. And how do we make incremental changes in terms of how we lead and how that those small tweaks of showing up more empathetically can change the entire, let's say, culture of a team or how one interrelates with their direct reports. Is that
No,
yes.
that actually makes a lot of sense because I feel like, I mean, again, I work with a lot of leaders as well, and
Yes.
I feel what happens a lot is we are moving so fast.
Yes.
The world around us is moving fast. The cultures we are in, speed is what is rewarded,
Yes.
connected,
Mhm.
banded, if you will. And as a result, we don't take the time to be very aware of ourselves.
100%.
I want to say leaders that I know in good, like in good faith,
Yes.
think they're actually empathetic. They think that they're showing up as these very encouraging and loving and supportive leaders. But I usually, in the work that you do, and if you push a little bit and ask different kinds of questions, you start to get into the place where they're not even aware that they're cruising and bruising, just like
Yes.
the people that they don't want to be.
Yes. Yes. I think that's a good point, and it makes me think about, sometimes we think about coaching and leadership, some of the traditional ways of looking at it, but sometimes it's things like the power in the pause, how powerful that can be. To just pause for a moment, self reflect. We talk about how important it is for you to block out time on your calendar, for you to just think, because things are moving so quickly and it's creating so much noise and churn and spin. But what I found that if you can become consistent, because that's important, consistent with taking that time to be self aware, to self reflect, that internal piece, it makes a huge difference. And let's just say this: it's not easy because we're going against a system. And this is what I want to say, I'll get on my soapbox, that wants us to be rushed, that wants us to be spinning, that wants us to be in all of the chaos and noise. Because if that's the case, then we can just be directed any which way, right? We're not grounded. We're not anchored, if you will. Okay. But the more anchored we are in our values, in our purpose, in our authenticity. And when I say the word authenticity, essentially what I'm meaning is that you are living your life aligned with your values, right? And if you find that you're not, then that's a different conversation to have.
I love all of this because
Yeah.
the amount of leaders that I have conversations with who tell me things like they struggle to find time to eat.
Yes.
They're booked so back to back, they can't even find time to go to the restaurant.
Yes.
And I've been that leader.
Yep.
And so sitting here, I hear your words, but to your point, this is not easy.
It's not.
And because and depending on the culture you're in, and I like to say that not every company is the same, not
Yeah.
every leader is the same. But if you are always spinning, you're much more it's easier to control you. It is easier
100%.
to just get you to go execute versus, to
Yes.
your point, ideate and
Yes.
challenge and create.
Yes.
Because that can be very threatening depending on the environment you're in and the culture you're in.
Absolutely. And that's where the conversation may shift. And that's one of the things that happens in these containers where I'm coaching, not only individually, but in groups, where you're able to kind of remove yourself first from the spin for like 90 minutes, start pausing, start thinking, start connecting back to who you are authentically
Yeah.
and reclaiming who you are authentically. And it's one of two things. Either you're going to start to embody this and you find that there's so much tension and friction where you are that it's no longer sustainable. And then you choose to move in a different direction. Or either you start to see that certain aspects start to shift. And what I mean by that is you can't change things overnight, but there can be incremental changes, i.e., I have a leader that one of the things she worked on is, you know what? I'm going to stop having all of these back-to-back hour-long meetings. I'm going to start limiting some to 30 minutes, some to 45 minutes so that I can have a 15-minute break where I can just use the bathroom, grab a cup of coffee, breathe, whatever that looks like. Because the way she had been working back-to-back, rarely had, like you said, rarely had an opportunity to eat. So I often say with folks, again, this is where you create these cultures where they're inhumane, honestly, I'm just going to say it. People don't have the time to hydrate. They're
Yeah.
sleep deprived. All of the basic things that we know are going to cause folks to be dysregulated are it's happening, right? But then there's this thing that I find once you pause and recognize your agency, well, what's within my control? I may not be able to control everything, but maybe I can control having the 30 to 45-minute meetings before the hour meeting. Or maybe when I look at certain meetings where I'm usually checked out doing emails, maybe I don't need to be in that email. Or maybe when I think that everyone expects me to do X, Y, and Z, perhaps I might be able to delegate that to someone. You know, all of those things that often can't happen until we go up on the balcony, as they say, and look down and we start to see, well, what are the things, and I call this like the energy audit.
Yeah.
What's draining me?
Yeah.
What's lighting me up? Yep.
I have
What,
something very similar.
yes. What might, this stuff is like, it's almost like universal wisdom. People package it in different ways, but a lot of it's basic things that we just lost based on how we have been operating in this world. But we have to live in this world. So how do we, again, we can't change things overnight, but one person at a time, I believe that when we start working on that self-leadership, not just the external leadership, it can make a difference.
Is this episode hitting a nerve? Are you facing complex people challenges and have tried leadership books, workshops, and the advice from everyone, and somehow it's still not working? Now imagine having a trusted leadership partner who understands your specific challenges and strengths. My one-on-one leadership program provides the support you need with a customized plan. If you'd like to learn more, click on the link in the show notes and book some time with me. I'll explain how it works. Now back to the show. I think it's so incredibly important. And so I'm going to tell you this little story because I think.
Yes, please.
So back when I was in corporate, I frequently had to meet with one executive leader. He was our COO.
Yes.
And getting on his calendar was virtually impossible. I learned his admin loves Smarties, so the little Smartie. So when I needed time on his calendar, like I would come with a gift and, hey, can you work me in?
Yes.
One of the things, again, going back to what you can control, is when people give you 30 minutes, why we decided 30 minutes and 60 minutes are the times that we have to do it. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Talks that out there. But what I did was I always created whatever needed to be done. I did it in 20 minutes or less. And I never told him that, but it's what I did. Because I knew if I went in, I just got down to business. This is what we're doing. This is what I need. What do you need from me? Boom, boom, boom. That then he privately would have 10 to 15 minutes hidden on his calendar that no one knew about. And so I realized that I always was able to get a meeting with him when I needed a meeting. And he told me one time, he said, "You're the only person who comes in here and doesn't just fluff. You come in,
Yes.
get it done." He said, "You always give me time." And he said, "I just want to say it means the world." And so, but it's going back to what you're talking about is like, I controlled that.
Yes.
Could have said, "You know what? No, I'm going to break this up and you're going to get 20 minutes. So I'm going to have 30-minute blocks, but guess what? You only get 20 minutes of my time."
Yes.
We can control that within ourselves of like, if you need a meeting with somebody, does it always have to be 30?
Right.
I have
Exactly.
to tell people if I don't get an agenda, I'm not thinking I'm going. Like, why do you need me there?
Absolutely.
What are we talking about? Because so much of what happens in corporate specifically is we get into these routines of what we think needs to happen,
Absolutely.
how the world has run.
Yes.
Wait, slow it down, ask a few questions.
Yes.
You might be surprised at where you personally can chip away at some things, and it's not going to be comfortable. I can tell you right now, people like their 30 minutes and 60-minute blocks. They like those chunks of time. But man, when you really start to change and set a different expectation, it does make people
Yes.
comfortable, but it can give you like freedom in your time, your life, your attention.
Absolutely. Yes.
Oh my
And
God.
that it's huge. And when people do it, they're like, my goodness, why didn't I think about this before? Right? Because we've been living in the shoulds. Sally does it, so should I. John does it, so should I. And this goes in the realm of in our work life and in our personal life.
Yes.
I often joke and I say people are shitting all over all over themselves because we live in the shoulds. And that's one of the things even with myself, whenever I start with the should, I'm like, okay, Chelese, hold on, wait a minute. Where is that coming from?
Mm. See, I'm not a should'er. I'm a need.
Uh-huh. I love it.
I'm Anita.
Ah,
I need to.
yes.
So at one point in my life, I said it so much. Somebody said, your middle name should be Anita because the things you need to do.
Yes.
And it wasn't until then that again, same thing. So now when I catch myself saying or thinking,
Yes.
thinking, I need to,
Yes.
an immediate check. Well, do you really need
Do you
to?
really? Is that really true?
Is it a need or
Yes.
expectation? Is it a want?
Yes.
Rarely, like I need to breathe.
Yes.
I need to sleep.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I need to send this email right this second.
Right. Yes.
Reframing the actions we take around going back to shoulds, needs, wants.
Yes.
But yeah, I say mine. You're a shoulda.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need one.
I love that. I'm going to use that because I'm sure there are people that are in that camp. And it kind of goes back to the power in that pause of just asking the question.
Yeah.
Is that really true? Do I need to? Should I? Just taking that pause because we're so quick to just act. And it goes back to this other word. Are you acting with intention?
Yeah.
Right? Are you
Yes.
being intentional with that decision? And one of the questions that I often leave clients with any decision, whether it's personal or whether it's at work, once you know your true north,
Yeah.
right? And you're in alignment with your true north, is the choice that I'm making in this moment aligned to that?
Mm.
Filtering things through that question. And it's a powerful, easy thing, but it can go through, you can go to, I'm opening the refrigerator, I'm pulling the cheesecake out. Is this in alignment to ... I'm filling my calendar back to back with meetings without even looking to see what they are, not doing any inventory or setting any intention, the no agenda, all those things. Is this in alignment with the commitment I made to have blocks during my day so that I can breathe, drink water?
No scrolling social media.
Yes.
With action aligned.
Yes. Yes. And we don't get it. We're human. So that's the thing. We're not looking for perfection, but we're looking to wake up.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's a challenge, right?
Yes.
Because partially joking about social media.
Yes.
They want your time and attention.
Of
They
course.
want all of your time.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the fact that you are not awake and not aware serves them. And so it is an act of rebellion to take that back and say, wow, how long have I been on this thing?
Absolutely.
Have I been like scrolling and swiping and
Yes. And I can relate. I'm guilty of that sometimes. I'm like, wait a minute, what happened here? And it's just making this choice because we didn't talk about this, but an extension of the True North is a program that I developed called the Reclamation. And this program is specifically for women at midlife, like 40 and up,
yeah,
right? And it's reclaiming who you are and before the world told you who to be.
Yep.
Okay.
You're going right where I was going to head into this. I was like,
yes, good.
You're right in the same vein. Cause I was like, so, cause you are working, you do
Yes.
target midlife, which I think
Yes.
is great. Being there myself.
Yes.
And so why is that so special for you? Why
Oh my
is
gosh.
that target audience a passion for you?
Yeah.
Other than we're awesome.
Yeah, I can't even begin. We are so awesome in this stage, and the world tries to tell us differently. You're too old, you're washed up, you're invisible, you're all of these different things. But we are wise. We have the intellectual, the spiritual wisdom, all of these different things that allow us to fully blossom into who we are, right? If we choose to. But again, oh my goodness, I'm on a soapbox. The world tells us that, oh, you're at this age and you're invisible. So God, not against any of these things. You do what you're going to do, but try to do all the face cream so you look like you're 20. Get the facelift so you'll look like you're 20. Instead of just embracing who we are in this stage, we're chasing all of these things versus aligning to who we are now and hearing that internal voice. So the reason why this is important to me is one, because I've lived it, right? I've lived through my journey where I was in my 40s because oftentimes we were talking about this before we got on camera today is the catalyst, that inflection point. For some people, it's divorce. For some people, it's a layoff. For some people, it's an illness, empty nest. The list goes on. Sometimes there's a catalyst. It could be the 4-0 birthday coming, the 5-0 birthday coming. For me, it was the 5-0 birthday coming. And it started in my 40s where I started thinking to myself, okay, had the corporate background, corporate Barbie, done that, realized that that was something that I could continue doing.
Yeah.
But did I really want to do that? Right. And I decided that I wanted to incorporate my corporate experience with my desire to help others. But I first had to help myself. So in helping myself during I'd say those later 40s or mid 40s to later 40s, I recognized that I was in an environment, a marriage that was not aligned. It was misaligned. Don't need to go into the details of that. It could be a job that's misaligned. It could be a whatever that is, but there was misalignment that was sucking my soul dry. I've heard people say that about jobs. I've heard people say that about relationships.
Yep.
And I knew I was asking myself this existential question. Chelese, you're about to close out your 40th decade. When you start envisioning this next decade, this next season, what do you envision? And I did not envision that because I felt that if I made a choice to do that, then it would be a choice to becoming almost like a disembodied version of myself because I had been that while I was in it, a disembodied version of myself that I had a glimpse of still that little fire inside of myself, but I felt if I didn't make a change, that flame was just going to be extinguished entirely. So I went through that process, did the self-healing, the self-work. That's when I became a certified Reiki master, did the energetics work. And at 50, literally, that marriage, the divorce was finalized, and I started my firm. Okay. And in that, I kind of white knuckled my way through it. I had support, but from that process, I was like, you know what? I want to create containers specifically for women, for them to start asking some of those questions. And maybe sometimes we can get ahead of some of those questions. But oftentimes when it's a common theme when we start getting to this season in our life, we do start asking these questions. I'm not unique to that. Okay. And it's some people make a choice that, you know what, I'm going to put my head in the sand, or I'm going to settle or resign myself to this way of being, whether that be work related, personal related, whatever it is, or I'm going to make a change. And creating an environment where women can have the support of one another in that space, going through something similar, not exact, but similar, to have their own personal board of advisors along with my facilitation to help them make the change. Because one of the things that I've also noticed, and there's research to support this, people, and I'm going to specifically say women now, but it's everyone, they're craving connection and community, right? And I believe, again, soapbox, that the way the system is designed now, where is to keep us apart from having that connection and community,
Mhm.
isolate,
Yeah.
to numb us, all of those different things. So I'm just one woman here saying, you know what? What can I do in a small way to create containers for people to connect again?
Yeah.
Again, integrating that internal and that external, and aligning themselves to their greatest potential, honestly.
Oh.
I said a lot.
No, I mean, but it hits.
Yeah.
It means something. Again, I maybe did my divorce a little bit sooner than yours.
Yeah.
I've been in jobs where, or just say general situations,
Yes.
professionally, where those words, "This is sucking the life out of me."
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And is this really all there is?
Yes.
Is this really all I can do? And more importantly, like, can I keep doing this?
Right.
And to your point, I think there are some people that is fine and that is where they are. I do feel, though, people eventually hit a breaking point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether it happens at different points, there's going to be something, the old saying, the straw that broke the camel's back. There will
Yeah.
be something for everybody that's going to
Yes.
be the push, the nudge over. But I agree with you. I think there's something to be said, too, that when you hit mid-age, and again, I know men go through some hormonal shift as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But speaking as a woman, there is something that happens in middle age where I am no longer interested in accommodating someone else. I feel like
Yes.
as a young woman, there was so much about who I was, what I did, how I did it,
Yes.
try to gain favor or be
Yes.
approved by someone else. And I'm in a stage of life where I still am smart and want to work hard and be committed and create great things, do great work. But I want to do it in a way where I don't feel like I'm compromising myself in the process.
Yes.
And it, to some degree, find joy in what I actually do.
How about that?
What you think that sound insane?
Oh, you know what? You're speaking the reclamation program in the essence. That's it. That's what it's
This
all
is not
about.
planned, people. We didn't plan.
Yes, it's definitely not planned because, again,
Mhm.
Kim, in order to connect to what we're talking about, it requires the power in the pause
Yeah.
to think, to hear that internal wisdom, because we have it. We all have it.
Yeah.
It's just, how do we quiet the noise down long enough to begin to excavate that, right? And that's what these containers do. It allows for that space and time to do that. And just you, from one woman to the next, I'm right with you. It's like, you know what? The shouldas, the needas, all that kind of stuff. It's like, you know what? No, I'm asking the question, is this alignment? Is this in alignment with my true north?
Yeah.
Not what the world has told me to do. Because I check I'm telling you, I checked all the freaking boxes that were expected, right?
Yeah.
And the thing about it, and this is the interesting and juicy part of this discussion, is then we get to a point where, well, I did this, I did that, I did that. And that was the blueprint that we knew to do.
Yeah.
And then it's like, now what?
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about what happens now. And with women, think about it. Before, you, before I wasn't even thinking about becoming a professional, but for our generation, go to school, go to grad school, get your job, do the corporate thing or whatever that thing is, get
Yeah.
married, have 2.5 kids,
Yeah.
send them to college, an empty nest. Then what? What do you do? But back in the day, life expectancy was something different. Now we've got a lot of us, God willing, we've got 30 more years, 3 more decades.
Yeah.
So what do I want to do with this time in my life? Right? How do I live intentionally? What if, some people are afraid to dream. What are my dreams? What are some things that I want to create with my life? And that's where I was at 50. And now that I'm approaching 60, girl,
You don't
I
ask me, by
want,
the way.
well, thank you. You want to know why? I think, and I'm not trying to, it's because I have joy,
Mm-hmm.
right? That I'm living with intention, that I'm excited to wake up every day and do the work that I do, right? I'm not just jonesing for, oh my God, I can't wait to retire because I hate what I'm doing. And no, I don't feel that way. So I'm excited about life. And I guess that's the thing when I think about it is I find it meaningful to help others to find that excitement in their lives and in their careers, right? And it's no longer we get to this linear place we've been taught to. And it's like, well, you know what? We gain a lot of wisdom in this path, but now what we can create is something that is more in line with who we are if we excavate that than we've ever been able to do before.
Well, and it's taking the time. Like you have to make commitment of yourself. And that is
100%.
hard to do. And I do think for women particularly, we have been trained not to put ourselves first, to be the shouldas and Anitas.
Of
And
course.
because that was seen as a desirable trait in women.
Absolutely. To
what's
serve
better.
others.
And now, and I think that's part of the shift is,
Yes.
and I think that's probably happened in generations before. Cause I mean, I joke about fried green tomatoes and I was like, I get Tawanda. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that movie means something completely different to me at
Yeah.
this age.
Yes.
Is that there is a shift that takes place.
Yes.
But to your point, slow down enough to figure out what that shift means,
Absolutely.
how much it can change your life.
Yes.
It can fundamentally change what you do next and where you want to go and how you want to get there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've witnessed that in my own life. I've witnessed that with people that I've coached. I'm a study of that and just, celebrities or external folks that I admire. In terms of just, it's almost like we've entered a new club, right? And there, and there are folks that have embraced it and are lit up.
Yeah.
And there are folks that I hear what you're saying that at some point the straw that broke the camel's back. But the sad part is often folks don't step into this new season intentionally. And that breaks my heart, right? That really breaks my heart.
All I gotta tell you is we were talking about this before, is I'm having a lot of fun. I work incredibly hard. I don't work less hard than I did when I was in corporate. I actually think I work harder now than I work.
Yeah.
But I'm having a lot more fun doing it.
Yes.
And constantly allowing myself the ability to reframe or redirect what I'm doing. So again, because to your point, alignment can shift.
Absolutely.
I'm like, hey, this is where I feel like I'm going. But you know what? As I continue to evolve in that, as evolve as a human, and just as a business owner and a woman and all of the things, it's allowing myself the ability to say, this is exciting and I'm going to go do this. And I'm going to allow myself to be in this space and feel it and experience it. And again, surround myself by people who applaud those actions and encourage those actions.
Yes.
That's one of the things I would tell people to be very mindful of is who you surround yourself with
Girlfriend.
matters all
Yes.
of the time. Like
Yes.
you think about like what was the stat? Who the 5 people have the greatest impact?
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. And it's not
Yes.
just 5 people. I think it's everything. I think it's your small circles, your big, primary, secondary, tertiary.
Yes.
Those people are the people that are going to push and pull you
Absolutely.
and help you figure out who and what you are, and also
Yes.
champion you,
Absolutely.
even if they don't agree with you.
Yes.
Champion you and say, "But I'm with you on this ride."
100%.
Those people,
Yes.
those influences matter.
Absolutely. And that's your community. And that's, I think, the importance of having that more now than ever is having that community. I tell you, just having this conversation, sometimes you have these things in your head and in your heart, and I think as creatives, you want to get this out. So I just want to say that I am so thankful for having this space to articulate these things that here with you and you being receptive to this conversation. And I have a feeling we'll probably be having more of these.
I agree. But so before we go, I think it's
Yes.
really important. You are graciously said, yes, you're going to be a speaker at the upcoming
Yes, ma'am.
summit. So I want to take a moment. It's Be the Anchor, which
Yes.
is right into some of the conversation we were talking about. So tell listeners a little bit about what your session's going to be so that
Yes.
make sure and go register for free to
Yes.
watch.
Absolutely. It's going to be anchored in a lot of what we've talked about here during this podcast. And it's integrating that internal and external leadership because they're both critically important to be anchored in that as you lead yourself through uncertainty and you lead the people that you are stewarding through change and uncertainty. Because that's where we're all living right now. Let's just face it. More now than it seems like ever. And just allowing us in the midst of that to also show up as human beings. So that's what you're going to get from my session.
Well, I'm going to be at the session.
Fantastic.
I'm so excited. I love your energy. I love your enthusiasm. And I'm just so in awe of your passion for the work that you do and the drive you bring to do good for others is
Thank
just
you.
so important. So thank you very much for being part of my constellation.
Of course.
And we'll definitely have you back again because we'll talk some more about all the other major things that are coming in 2020.
I'd love to. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
I've got 2 things before I let you go. 1, if you've ever gotten any value from the show, please leave a 5-star review. It really helps and absolutely makes my day. The second thing is if you have any thoughts you'd like to share with me, please shoot me an email at podcast@KimberlyJBenoit.com. I'd love to hear from you. All right, see you in the next episode.